Well, hello YouTubers and folks, welcome back to Trans I Am Garage. Today we're going to be looking at the C4 Corvette in a little bit more detail. This will be a multi-part series because I can only work on it as funds are available and parts are supplied. Right. Looking at this is a 1986 C4 Corvette. It's obviously in a pretty bad state. We, oops, nearly tripped over and broke my leg. That was good. All right. I suppose in America, this car would be dragged off to the junkyard and squashed, but we're not in America, we're in Australia, where a C4 Corvette, or any Corvette at that matter, is a rarity. So you've got to work with what you got. What I have is a leftover parts car that there wasn't many parts left over. The original owner gutted the car out completely, took everything they wanted. There's no seats. These seats aren't Corvette seats. There was a part of a dash over there. There's a part of a dash and a bit more part of a dash here. Now, I've actually built this aluminium framing in here. I have a cardboard template in this position to work out where I'm going to stick my gauges and be able to view them through the steering wheel for drivability. I do actually have the glass cover for here, which was a bonus because that's a very expensive item. Yeah, I don't have the windscreen obviously. I do have the bonnet. Room in this shed is at a premium. You have to be an expert in Tetris to be able to fit things in. So I have acquired a 350 Chevy, a Vortex engine, and it was a crate engine that a gentleman had. I bought it 15 years ago and stored it in his shed, filled it to the brim with oil, and then a friend of mine, I asked him if he knew anybody that had an engine, and he put me onto him, and the gentleman was very nice and sold me the engine. Pretty sure it's a restroked 327, a factory stroked 327 to 350. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but that's my research on the engine. It's running a 4L60E gearbox. I managed to do a wheel and deal for that, and that's fitted in there. I had to make my own C-beam bracket to bolt it in. As I say, the car is and was pretty stripped. There's no brakes. That's going to make stopping interesting, but I'm sure we'll address that. I even had to make these bracing bars are missing, but that's the point of a project. It's enjoyable doing the project, not just finishing the project. So we have a Holley Sniper fuel injection lock on here. The engine hasn't run yet. It's all brand new. I do like Holley. I'm not sponsored by Holley. On my Trans Am, over this side here, is also running a Holley Terminator EFI unit. Very reliable, absolutely excellent quality out of the box. That's as I say, I'm not sponsored by them, but I've had no issues with them. Very impressed. All right, moving along, the dash top here is aluminium sheet I get from the local scrapyard. I've framed out the dash. This will be a tooled steel aluminium plate that goes down to the floor. This cardboard cutout here will be tooled steel, machine turned steel with the gauges set in it, and then we'll upholster the top of the dash in a black, and it will roll over the top, and under the dash it will then change from either a grey or a black on top to a white. That's, I hear everybody cringe, white interior, because the vehicle is going to be more of a open top roadster type car, even though we do have the glass top. It'll be handy to have if it does rain. We do not have the rear hatch. Now, the rear hatch, I do have a line on possibly getting one. Fingers crossed, that'll be in the next video. If I can achieve getting that, we basically have a complete Corvette shell. Not Corvette parts, there's thousands of parts missing, but I could make a runner out of what I got. Now, the dash, that's the template. Where things are going to go, this is the instrument cluster in another template that's going to go in it. This is how I'm finding out where they should go, situate it behind the steering wheel so that I can see the gauges. This is the Sniper EFI control LCD, very handy, not little, sits between your behind your steering wheel if that's where you want to position it, and it gives you all your gauges as well. So it's a good little item. This is a mock-up number 1. You can see that I had to mark this for gauges to be moved out, and then again on the inside we have mark here saying that this gauge should now move to there to see it correctly through the steering wheel. We're also, this is a GPS speedo, and all full electronic gauges. We also are going to be running in the middle section over here, over just below the vents or above the vents, position will be determined. I will be running a Holley EFI digital dash. I have one of these in the Trans Am. I bought this several years ago for another project, never used it. This is a standalone digital dash. So it gives you all your gauges, and it also gives you some electronic switches and relay feeds, which allows you to control different things on the car. Very robust type of item. I'm very impressed with the one I've already got in the Trans Am. Has functioned flawlessly for the last 5 years. I do believe they're a race dash. Yeah. So that's going in. Now this is, as I said, is a standalone unit, which means it does not require to hook to a computer. It can function quite adequately without the computer. It comes with a standalone harness, which means I can run all my trigger points and that out to oil and temperature and fan drives, and that through this, bit hard to focus, through this setup. Comes with Holley, comes with its own software. Another thing about the Holley product, especially with Holly tuning, and that once you purchase the item, the software resource is free, and so's any tunes loaded up to the software resource from the website. So that's an incredible thing, because somebody else can tune the same type of car with the same type of engine. You can go there, download that tune, and upload it straight to your vehicle. So really impressed with that. We also have, I do believe this is a regulator, fuel pump regulator. It's a no-name brand. See how it goes. Probably fail in 10 minutes, but better than nothing. The fuel tank is the original fuel tank in the vehicle, and it has been cleaned out. I've got it bunged up at the moment. These are the fuel pipes. Got them looped at the moment because the fuel pump is now going to be refitted once I verify that the fuel pump functions, and we're going to refit that back in and run fuel lines to the engine just to get it to fire up. This rear bar, I said in a previous video, we only just managed to purchase this rear bar. I got this from the other side of the country, complete with tail lights, mounting brackets, and everything. Was extremely lucky to get this. In Australia, this type of stuff is pretty rare. It's not actually fitted properly. Only holding on by 2 bolts at the moment. I'm waiting for a 1/4-inch drive right angle ratchet to come, because I do believe I've got to remove this panel to allow my arm to get in there and fit the bolts either side. I did buy a Makita, which is one of my favourite tools. To buy a Makita right angle drive. This is a 3/8 and 1/4-inch drive, but because of the large battery on the back, you can't get your arm in there with it. So I have another item roughly the size of this that's coming, that it's got a 1/4-inch drive on it, and that should be able to do up and assemble the nuts that are required to fit the back of this panel on correctly. So that's one of the further tasks to be achieved. Working back to the front, some of the viewers may have seen there is a Pro charger fitted to the car. Have to forgive the video quality. This is I think this is video number 4, and I'm still trying to work out the correct things, and obviously get some tripods, some better cameras, that type of thing. So this is a Pro charger that I wheeled and dealed for. It's not made for this Corvette. They do put this model on the Corvette, but obviously comes with different brackets and that. I'm having to make my own brackets and belt feeds, that type of thing. Obviously it's not going to work in this configuration, because this is a downdraft into the manifold. The Holly fuel injection will move forward to this position. There'll be a plate that goes across. From underneath the plate there will be a pipe that runs out over the top of the tapper cover, down and into the back of the Vortex supercharger. The gases will then go through the supercharger, exit through the front, and go across the front of the engine, down the side, back to where the Holly is now bolted on. Will be a turbo right angle hat that goes on, and that the gases will come back and enter that position there, enabling the Holley injection block to move forward on the hat, and the turbo hat will be sitting under the back, so it'll still retain this bug catcher. We call them bug catchers in Australia. I'm not sure what they're called in other countries. So that's how that's going to fit. A little bit more look of what's going on. The body is in relatively good condition, requires painting. There's no major damage. It's a bitzer. As I say, I have to obtain brakes for the entire car, and a lot of different things, but that's the fun of doing this project. Oh well, that's a brief look at the Corvette and how I'm going to go about it. The next video we will put together will be more showing the doing rather than the talking. So for everyone out there, any questions, please feel free to comment. I'll answer. Hit the subscribe, like button, you know the deal. And everybody have a good day. Thank you.